If you've ever wondered what makes HR such a dynamic and rewarding career, you're in the right place. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's explore why choose HR as a career.
All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into the world of HR.
Human resources.
Exactly, human
Yep.
resources.
Mm-hmm.
We've got this presentation. It's called Why Choose a Career in HR. And you know what?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people hear HR and they think,
Oh,
paperwork, you know, like boring stuff.
right. Like just filing and
Yeah, exactly.
like.
We're going to find out.
But
Is that really true?
ooh,
Is it way more exciting? Are there like hidden
by foe.
secrets of HR that we can uncover?
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm excited to dive into this. I spent a lot of time helping people figure out their careers.
Oh, wow.
Figuring out like what they want to do.
Yeah,
And I think HR is one of those areas where there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
for sure.
So I'm hoping we can like really dig in and find out what's really going on.
Okay, cool. So let's jump right in.
Okay.
So this presentation starts off, really strong. It says that HR is the backbone of any successful business.
Mm.
Big statement.
Yeah.
And they talk about workforce management, employee satisfaction, company culture.
Right. All that good stuff.
Yeah, like all that stuff that makes a business
Important thing.
thrive and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Is that really true? Is it all riding on the shoulders of HR?
Well, I think it's a good point.
Yeah.
If you think about it, you can have the best product in the world,
Mm,
the best service, but if you don't have the right people,
right.
if you don't have a good culture,
Yeah.
where people feel supported and engaged, it's not going to succeed. So
Mhm.
HR really plays a crucial role in like setting that foundation,
Yeah.
from hiring the right people,
Yeah.
onboarding them properly,
Mm-hmm.
training and development, making sure people are, growing and learning in their roles,
Yeah.
dealing with things like conflict resolution
Yeah.
and creating a positive work environment.
That stuff is huge.
It's a lot more than just like paperwork.
It's so interesting that you say that because like one of the next things that they talk about,
Yeah.
a high demand for HR professionals.
Oh, yeah.
And especially they call out like AI and digital transformation.
Right.
Is that like hype or is there really something there?
No, I think that's a real thing. As technology is changing the way we work,
Mhm.
HR has to keep up. We're seeing like AI being used in recruitment now to analyze resumes
Oh, wow.
and even conduct initial interviews.
Wow.
So HR professionals really need to understand how these technologies work, how they can use them ethically,
Mhm.
effectively, and what their limitations are.
Right.
So it's a really evolving field.
So it sounds like there's a lot of change happening in HR.
Definitely.
But are these like specialized roles
Mhm.
or is this something that like every HR person is going to need to know?
It's kind of both, actually.
Okay.
So the presentation talks about, there are generalist roles in HR
Okay.
where you kind of do a little bit of everything.
Right.
And then there are specializations like talent acquisition, learning, and development. So while a generalist might need a basic understanding of HR technology,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's in HR analytics is going to need a much deeper level of expertise in like data analysis,
Yeah,
interpretation.
that makes sense.
So there's a lot of room for growth
Yeah.
within the HR field.
So it sounds like there's like lots of different paths that you can take.
Absolutely.
You can kind of go up the ladder
Mm-hmm.
and specialize in different things.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about this because the presentation mentions this idea that HR is a recession-proof career.
Right.
Is that really true?
Well, I think there's a reason why people say that,
Okay.
because even in tough economic times,
Yeah.
companies still need to manage their workforce. They
Mhm.
still need to deal with employee relations. They
Yeah.
still need to adapt to changing regulations.
Yeah.
And these are all core functions of HR.
Mhm.
So, the expertise is always valuable. Of
Yeah.
course, like any field,
Right.
there can be fluctuation.
Of course.
But the need for skilled HR professionals, I think, tends to remain pretty consistent.
That's okay. So it might not be totally recession-proof,
Right.
but it's definitely a field that's
Almost stable.
stable. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So that's reassuring
Mhm.
for anybody who's maybe thinking about.
Thinking about a career change.
Yeah, and that's interesting you say that because the presentation actually calls out
It does.
career changers,
Mhm.
specifically like
Yeah.
those people who are in technical roles or,
Or maybe they're just not feeling fulfilled.
yeah, just kind of bored.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of pitch HR as like a way to escape the mundane
Yeah.
and make a real impact.
I love that.
Is that realistic? Is that a thing that happens?
It absolutely can be. I've seen people come from all sorts of backgrounds into HR
Really?
and really thrive, Like maybe somebody has a strong technical background. They could excel in HR tech, or somebody with a lot of customer service experience. They might be really great at employee relations.
Right?
So I think the key is really those transferable skills.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because at the beginning of the presentation, they really focus on these communication skills and interpersonal skills.
Right. Like being a people person.
Yeah. And it almost makes it sound like that's all it's about.
Right. And that's a big misconception.
Yeah.
I think, the skills are super important,
Yeah.
but they're not the whole picture. Think about it, negotiating salaries, developing performance management systems, navigating complex labor laws,
Yeah.
These tasks require like strategic thinking,
Yeah.
analytical skills, problem solving. Modern HR is not just about being friendly and approachable.
It's not just about birthday cake.
Exactly.
For everyone.
Exactly.
Okay, so if it's not just about hiring and firing, what would you say are some of the key areas that HR really shapes?
Well, the presentation actually mentions some really important ones.
Okay.
Work-life balance, diversity and inclusion, employee engagement. These are all huge areas where HR can make a real difference in creating, a more equitable and fulfilling work environment.
Okay.
So things like, designing flexible work policies, implementing diversity training, creating programs that foster employee well-being.
Yeah.
These are all things that HR is really at the forefront of.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they need a lot of knowledge to do all that.
They do.
And the presentation talks about this idea of getting an MBA in HR, specifically to learn things like labor laws, compensation performance management.
Right. It's all about that specialized knowledge, especially if you want to move into those leadership roles or those more specialized areas like compensation and benefits or HR analytics.
Yeah.
You need that deep dive to really be able to make those strategic decisions.
Yeah. So this all makes sense then when they talk about lucrative salaries and attractive perks.
It all kind of comes together.
Yeah, because it's not just
that responsibility.
Yeah, it's not just paperwork.
No,
it's
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we've really kind of debunked this myth that HR is
I think so.
just about paperwork and handshakes.
It's so much more than that.
It's a really dynamic field
Yeah.
that requires, people skills, strategic thinking,
Yeah.
and I guess a real passion for
people.
Yeah, for people, for creating a positive work environment.
Absolutely.
So for anyone listening who's maybe now intrigued by the world of HR.
Intrigued.
Yeah. What would you say to them? What would you say they should do next?
I would say, dig a little deeper.
Okay.
Really think about what motivates you. Do you enjoy solving complex problems? Do you like advocating for others? Do you want to help shape a better future of work?
That's a big one.
It is a big one. And if you answer yes to those questions, then HR might just be the perfect path for you.
It just might be.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Our deep dive into the world of HR.
We did it.
HR.
We did it.
We did it. I hope this has given you
More insights.
a much better understanding.
Than just the paperwork.
Yeah, exactly. Than just like that surface level view of HR.
Exactly.
Maybe sparked some inspiration
Yeah.
to go out and explore this a little bit more.
There's so much out there.
There's so much out there. And there are tons of resources to help you along the way.
Absolutely.
So don't be afraid to dive in.
Dive in.
And discover if HR is the right fit for you.
That's it.
That's it for today.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.